Namaskar. Welcome to episode 7. You are not meeting strangers. The law of karma in relationships. In episode 2, I said something and asked you to simply hold it without fully explaining it. I said that the relationships which carry the most charge, the most intensity, the most sense of inevitability are often not coincidences. I call them the soul's unfinished business arriving in human form. I want to come back to that now and actually open it up. Because there is a particular kind of relationship almost everyone has experienced at least once. The kind where, from the very first meeting, there is a sense of weight to it, of significance, as though something is already in motion before either of you has done anything at all. People often call this fate, or chemistry, or simply say it felt different from the start. The Vedic tradition has a precise explanation for this feeling, and it is not mystical in the way people often assume. It is closer to mathematics than to magic. In section 1, now we discuss what karma actually means here. I want to clear something up immediately because the word karma gets used too loosely in everyday language that it has almost stopped meaning anything precise. Karma does not mean punishment. It does not mean cosmic payback for something you did wrong. And in the context of relationships specifically, it does not mean that a difficult relationship is something you deserve or that you are being taught a lesson by some external forces keeping score. Karma, in the sense the tradition actually uses it, simply means action and its consequence. Every action, and this includes thought, intention, and emotional pattern, not just physical deed, creates an impression. That impression does not vanish. It is stored and it shapes future tendency. We have already named this storage mechanism in earlier episodes. It is the vasana, the groove worn into consciousness by repeated experience. What I want to add now is the relational dimension of it. Vasanas are not only personal habits, they are also relational residues, unfinished emotional business with specific qualities: being abundant, being controlled, being unseen, being responsible for someone else, being chosen or not chosen, that has not yet completed itself. In section 2 we discuss Prarabdha and why some relationships feel inevitable. This brings us to a term I introduced briefly in episode 2 and want to properly unpack now: Prarabdha karma. Of the accumulated impressions a person carries, and the tradition holds that this accumulation spans far beyond a single lifetime, though you do not have to take a position on that to find this useful. Prarabdha is the specific portion that has already begun to ripen. It is, in a sense, already in motion, already set into the current circumstances of this life, ready to play out. This is the precise reason certain relationships feel different from others before anything has even happened. Most encounters in a day pass without charge. You meet dozens of people and feel close to nothing. But occasionally you meet someone and something in you recognizes a weight that has nothing to do with what they have said or done so far. That weight is Prarabdha. It is the unfinished impression, already ripe, meeting the person who is positioned to bring it fully into expression. This is what the tradition means by You are not meeting strangers. The intensity is not random. It is the impression finding the precise circumstance it needs in order to complete. In section 3, now we discuss completion, not punishment. I want to be very careful here because this is the part most commonly misunderstood, and misunderstanding it causes real harm. A karmic relationship is not a sentence. It is not something you are doomed to suffer through because you owe a debt. And it absolutely does not mean you are obligated to stay in something harmful, or that leaving a difficult relationship is some kind of spiritual failure. What it means is closure to this. Certain relationships arrive carrying old, unresolved emotional material, yours, theirs, or both, and the relationship becomes the arena in which that material finally has the chance to be seen clearly and resolved one way or another. Resolution does not always mean staying together. Sometimes the karmic completion is precisely the relationship ending, but ending with understanding rather than blame. Sometimes it means the relationship continues, but only once both people stop relating through the old wound and start relating to who is actually there. The completion is not in the outcome, it is in the clarity. A karmic relationship is complete not when it ends or continues in any particular form, but when the unconscious impression driving it has been brought into consciousness and is no longer running the show unseen. In section 4, we discuss how this connects to everything before it. I want to draw a direct line back through everything we have covered because this episode is really the spine connecting all of it. The filter and the projection from episode 1 and 2 are built from vasanas. The honeymoon from episode 3 is the period when the projection itself, often carrying Prarabdha charge, holds intact. The crack from episode 4 is the moment the Prarabdha material can no longer stay hidden beneath the projection. And the 3 paths from episode 5, restoration, blame, or genuine encounter, are 3 different relationships to the same karmic material trying to surface. Restoration buries it again. Blame exports it into the other person and carries it forward unresolved into the next relationship, which is precisely why the pattern from episode 6 repeats with such uncanny consistency. Genuine encounter is the only path among the 3 that actually allows the Prarabdha to complete. This is why I said several episodes ago that the relationship is downstream and the perception is upstream. Now you can see what is actually upstream of the perception itself, the karmic impression that the perception was built to express. Here is what I want you to sit with this week. Think of the one relationship in your life that has carried the most charge, the one that felt from very early on like it mattered in a way you could not fully explain. And instead of asking the question most people ask, was this person right for me? Was this meant to be? Ask a different question. What unfinished material did this relationship bring to the surface in me? And has it actually been resolved, or only buried, or only blamed? You do not need a complete answer. You are simply learning to ask the right question instead of the question that keeps the cycle running. In the next episode, I want to take on a term that gets used constantly and almost always inaccurately. The law of attraction. What it actually means in this tradition, how it is connected to everything we have just covered, and why the popular version of it gets something important backwards. If this episode has given you new way of understanding relationship that has weighed on you, share it with someone carrying something similar. I will see you in the next one episode. Thank you.